Hey, what's going on? My favorite people, welcome back to the Tudor Show, where I deliver to you personal development, marketing, and branding tips to truly make your impact in this world, because I believe that you have an amazing idea, and my skill is bringing that idea to life, bringing it to the marketplace, and making sure that it's being received the way that it should be. So as you are tuning in live right now, let me know where you are from, what kind of business are you operating, or maybe you're just trying to escape the rat race. And I'm really curious to learn more about what you're hoping to get out of this post. But primarily, what I want to focus on is on the topic of branding. A lot of you have been following me here on my social media and know me as someone that can generate sales using social media. And one of my mistakes coming online was, I didn't actually brand myself. I was doing it, but I was doing it subconsciously. And I was branding myself through the content and through the value that I was delivering, but it didn't actually establish a branding identity. And I think a lot of people come into this industry without that awareness. And when you don't brand yourself appropriately, what happens is you end up looking cheap. So what I've done actually for the purpose of this live is I've created a group. It's called Tudor Consulting. I'm just making sure that you guys are able to join that group. I'm just editing. Dropped my phone there. I'm just editing the description here on my laptop because for some reason it didn't pop up on my Facebook. So the topic of today is branding and how to really create a brand identity. We talked about the branding process, but this week I want to dive in deeper in terms of how do you actually define your brand, and why is it important to do that? See, the reality is if you build a timeless brand, and what do I mean by that? A brand that will last for generations ahead. We have to think in the future, right? What it does, it increases the perceived value of your offer, increases loyalty, and increases the customer pride. So what that ultimately translates to is literally increased revenue. In fact, you can actually calculate this and give you a very valid ROI based on your company's revenue right now, and we can show you from the amount of dollars that you've invested into your brand identity, what it can actually give you in terms of returns. And this has been calculated. It's statistical data on an international level through a variety of research papers that can give you this consensus in terms of what your investment in your brand could really mean in terms of revenue. So I'm someone that's all about facts, all about numbers. I'm not here to preach fluff, and I'm not here to preach any hype. This is the reality, is that the most successful brands in today's world, they did this right the first time around. And you kind of think of branding that if you do this right, you typically don't have to reinvent the wheel if it's done right from the first time around. You might look at a brand like Apple, and sure, the Apple brand has evolved over the years, but essentially the main logo, the apple with the bite out of it, has remained the same, and that's been maintained for over decades, right? So yes, we do revive our brand and we update it, but ultimately, if it's done right, it's a one-time investment for building a timeless brand. And then comes the actual marketing and advertising and ultimately sales campaigns. But you can't drive traffic to something that looks like crap, right? And what no marketing company, real marketing company, will really take you on, because it's a huge liability for them, right? If your brand is not developed and established, then you're paying a marketing company to run that traffic to your offer, and if they don't succeed, it's all on them. But guess what? If you're sending all this traffic to a website that looks like it's been put together by literally like $200 overseas, right, and it's not converting, whose fault is it? Is it really the marketing person or the company who did their job in sending that traffic? Maybe they tweaked your funnels to have a bit of a higher converting rate, or is it essentially the branding person's fault for not doing this right? Because you only have literally 30 seconds to make an impression, and nowadays that attention span is getting smaller and smaller. So if you want to do a business right, you got to build the branding foundations, the business plan, then the marketing plan, and then the sales. That's just how you do it. So the purpose of today is to define this brand, help you define it. So I want you to comment down below as you're joining my live here, what business you're in. If you're in affiliate marketing, you might say, well, I don't need to brand because my affiliate marketing company does that. Well, guess what? There's likely, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of other affiliates in this company. Why should they join you? Right? What do you have to offer that's different than everybody else? And if you don't have an answer for that, then you're going to lose that sale, right? You're going to lose that lead. So even if you are representing a company and you're an affiliate of a company, if you want to offer something that's different on the marketplace compared to the other thousands of affiliates out there, you got to brand yourself. So as you're joining this live, please share with me what business you're representing, so I can tailor this live and use your business as an example. Good morning, Ronnie. Yes, it's summer here in Vancouver. So go ahead and let me know where you're from and what business you're representing, so I can apply these examples to your business so you can actually walk away with some real value from this live. And by the way, you guys, next week I'm going to be diving deeper into this process, and it'll be more value in my private group, Tudor Consulting. It's going to be more around higher level branding and advertising, and then how to build your business plan, your foundations. So just go ahead and join that if you're interested. Otherwise, I'm just going to be delivering some surface level value here on my social media. So first, we have to define the brand. And the first thing you got to do in order to do that is identify the core values and its purpose. Brady here says that he's a master level neurolinguistic programming practitioner. Thank you for sharing. So as I'm sharing the core values and purpose, I want you to keep this in mind for your business. So first, you have to identify the values of the brand. Now you have to think that a brand, essentially what it is, it's a promise, okay? And underneath it has to be a set of values, sort of like a foundation, right? So, why do we build trust with people? Why do we do business with people? It's because we trust them. And why do we trust them? Is because we have similar values that we can resonate. So you got to think of your brand as a person. And these values are the behavior of the brand that needs to be expressed consistently internally within your employees and your organization, and externally to your potential customers. So we have to identify the roots of our brand by identifying the core values and its beliefs of your brand, right? And from this, we can then develop the marketing strategy. So let's use the neurolinguistics programming practitioner as a brand example. So just curious here, Brady, what would you say is the core value of your business? As an NLP practitioner, what is the purpose? What is the belief of this business model? What kind of promise can it deliver to your customers, to your clients? So I would imagine it'd be something along of being able to achieve higher levels of performance and influence in your organization, both internally and externally, right? So that could be part of the brand's core value. And its belief is that if we invest in our personal development, then it'll reflect in our outer world. Our intelligence will be able to create that reality around us if we know how to master ourselves. From an NLP practitioner example. So I just use that as a business example. Please go ahead and share me your examples so I can also give you some value that'll directly apply to your business as you're coming on. So from this, we can now develop the marketing strategy. I have a kitty here that came to join me. Oh, as soon as I moved my chair, he ran away. Maybe I'll grab him later for the end. So let's talk about marketing strategy. So the first thing you got to think is, number one, I hope you're taking notes right now. So get a pen and paper, because this is literally university level education. Okay, so what products and services are you offering? So let's say in the NLP example, I would imagine you're offering some sort of consulting. maybe even an online course. It could even be a workshop, right? So ask yourself, how are we delivering this service? Now, the second thing you want to think about is what trends and opportunities are in the marketplace. So if you look at the economy right now, for example, in real estate, here in Vancouver anyways, it is slowing down. So I got the kitty. Oh my God. I just had to show you for this live. Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn about marketing. He's so pissed at me, but I don't care. So let's use the real estate example here in the marketplace. Because it is correcting itself, so to speak, a lot of people might want to attain higher levels of performance and influence. So right now, to answer the question, what are the trends and opportunities in the marketplace? If the economy may be slowing down in a particular niche, then a lot of people might seek out extracurricular programs or courses to increase their performance. So that would tell us that perhaps now is a good time to launch out a product of that nature. So I hope that example applies to you. Let me just read your comment here. Brady says the universe never gives you what you want. It gives you what you believe. So if you change your beliefs, you can change what's delivered. I work off this principle to help people to change their beliefs. So I would assume that is the core value of your brand when it comes to NLP practicing. So just like that, we need to know what are the beliefs of our brand, right? So we can change the perception of our brand to the outer world so that we can communicate in a way that's consistent with our values. So I hope that makes sense. Juana, thank you. My cat loves you too. So the next question is, well, who are your customers? So if the opportunity, let's say, is in real estate, because the market is correcting itself and people are applying for higher level courses that help them expand their influence, their ability to negotiate, and being able to achieve higher levels of achievement, right? If that's the case, then our customers might be, CEOs or people who have their own businesses that have the pressure of delivering or meeting certain sales quotes. It could be someone that has an organization, a sales team. So we're looking for higher level professionals in the example of an NLP business. Now you might want to ask, okay, well, who are my competitors? Well, in the personal development arena, you have quite a list of heavy competitors. You have people like Bob Proctor. You have people like Tony Robbins. You have a lot of higher level professionals have been doing this for decades that could really stand out in this field. Another one that I was reading, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, right? He's a psychologist. He's a doctor in this area of creating these shifts internally so that people can see those shifts externally. So the question really you need to ask yourself is, how do I stand out of the marketplace when I know that there's these kind of competitors out there? So you got to think about your unique value proposition and how you can offer something to your clients. And the best way to do that, if you think about people like Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor or Joe Dispenza, these people have branded themselves so that people have trust with them, that they're willing to pay thousands of dollars to attend their courses. In fact, I believe Tony Robbins' Platinum course is over $100,000 a year to get mentorship with him. Why would people pay that? Because he's built a brand around the success stories he was able to create. So if you really want to compete with people in the personal development niche, you got to ask yourself, well, how can I stand out? And that all comes down to your brand, right? And building a brand around those core values. Sarah, welcome. Hello. I will not reveal where I live, but basically somewhere beautiful in the forest next to nature where I let my creative juices flow. So the next question is, so now we're on point number 5, right? So first we asked what are our products and our services. Then we asked what are the trends and opportunities in our marketplace, who are our customers, and who are our competitors. Wow, that was kind of a tongue twister there. Now, the number 5 is, what is your overall value proposition to the marketplace? How can you stand out? What is something different? What puts you aside? What problem are you solving that is big enough where people will pay to justify the exchange of service, right? So for example, one of my clients the other day, excuse me, he developed a software that helps track transportation of fuel. And a lot of trucking companies, they're still tracking these transportations on a paper-based system. So he's able to roll out a software that solves that problem, that decreases the man hours, that allows people to be very accurate in terms of how much fuel is being transported, so there isn't any back and forths. So he's solving a lot of problems, particularly in this industry, and saving companies a lot of money and a lot of human errors, right? So you want to ask yourself, what is your value proposition in the marketplace? What can you offer something that solves a big enough problem that's costly enough where people will pay for it? So that will help you differentiate yourself from the competition. And can you provide perhaps same level of service, if not better, but more competitive pricing? That's another way where you can stand out from the marketplace. So again, it all comes down to your core values and belief system of your brand and building awareness around that so that you can stand out in the marketplace. So essentially, you can gain more of the market share. Sarah says, okay, to be honest, I don't know who you are, but I'm a fan of your speaking, and I think you explained something about network marketing. Network marketing is using an already established brand, but like I explained earlier in this video, you have to stand out from the thousands of other network marketers by building your own brand, so you can say, hey, build your team with me. And why? Is because I offer something different, better than the other affiliates. So I hope that answers your question. So this is how basically branding and marketing are closely linked. So let's use an example, okay? If we pick a company, let's say it's a watch company, okay? And we're going to roll out a new line of watches that integrates technology, like smartphones with the watch. And let's say that the target customer for this would be families, right? So that allows parents to communicate with their kids, okay? And in order to build the brand, we need to think about, okay, well, this watch that integrates with technology, what kind of promise are we delivering? In order to deliver this promise, we have to ask ourselves, what are the beliefs that we have about the target market? So if the target market in this case is parents, what are some of the beliefs? Comment down below, please engage with me. What are some of the beliefs that we may have about parenthood and why parenting may look towards using a technology that allows them to be closer to their kids, right? Maybe parents are special, they have an important role, parents are hardworking and they do everything they can to support their families, right? Go ahead and engage with me. What are some of the beliefs that society typically has about parenthood? Now, why am I doing this? Is that we use, oh my God, there's a spider on me. We use these beliefs to craft our brand. So from these core beliefs, we then can create a slogan that describes what our product can do for them. So we can say our parent watch, so to speak, it celebrates parenthood by helping parents be the very best they could be, right? Now, you can see that now it has a strong emotional appeal, right? It represents the core purpose of the brand, why it exists, and what it believes, right? So this is why we need to develop the core beliefs of our brand, because that's how we're going to communicate. Basically, the belief system we have about our product has to match the belief system that society has about our target market to be some synchronicity, if that makes sense. So here's just some of the questions you want to ask when you're developing your core belief system about your brand. What is the belief underneath the brand? Is it linked to your marketing strategy? And is it clear what it stands for and what it wants to become in the future, right? So if we were to develop just a watch, well, maybe that wouldn't be the most appropriate thing for the future, because as technology is developing, we want to stay up to pace with that. So it would be wise in this case to integrate our watch and differentiate from all the other watches in the marketplace by combining it with an app technology that could be connected to a phone. You see, so you want to think of the future as you are creating your brand. Now this leads to our brand drivers, okay? So what are our brand drivers? Well, once you have the brand foundation, the core beliefs, okay, you need to build the definition of the brand. So think about it as if you're expanding, and you're doing this expansion by brand drivers. So basically, how can I put this? They are descriptive aspects of the brand. They come in different forms, and they could be attributes, they could be functional, emotional benefits, right? They could be self-expressive benefits, what customers say about themselves when they're wearing the brand. Are they proud? Do they have a lot of pride in wearing this brand, right? So these are the brand drivers. Now to create them, we need to think of a list of phrases, right, that stretches the brand's core purpose, okay? Now, this is more of a free-flowing exercise. Don't get so stuck on the phrasing, but it's just to get your creative juices flowing. So if we're going to revisit the core values of the watch technology that integrates with phone apps, maybe we can say the core value of the brand is it celebrates parenthood by helping parents be the best they could be, okay? So remember, we said that the beliefs were that parents are special, they have an important role, they're hardworking, and they'll go above and beyond for their families. So let's create some brand drivers and let's expand this, right? So maybe you guys could be engaging and sharing some ideologies about the beliefs that we have about parents, so we can create our brand drivers. So Brady is participating here. Parents often have a hard time with toddlers who have temper tantrums. I've taught some parents who have this problem about emotional anchors, an NLP technique. Brilliant. So this is a belief that parents are patient, right? And they're doing their best, and they'll go above and beyond to handle their children in moments of difficulty. So, there we go. So, we could use either an NLP technique, or we could use a technology to help bridge that communication between parents and children, right? So you can say, this helps me, this technology can help me perform my duties at home and work somewhere else. So it can help me stay in touch with my kids by using this app technology on my phone. It makes it more fun to communicate with my kids. It makes me stay on top of my kids' homework and their extracurricular activities. It helps me protect my family, making sure that they're home at a certain curfew, right? So it basically helps me balance all these tasks of parenthood by leveraging this technology, right? So do you see what we're doing here, right? We're literally listing specific things that are important to our target market, right? So we're basically listing a variety of benefits that it might have. And these benefits are called the brand drivers, okay? So you can group them into about 5 categories. Number 1, your brand drivers could have functional benefits. So the basic job of the product, right? What does it do? It's got an app technology that connects the parent from their watch to their children. They're able to send text messages and reminders. So it's able to bridge that communication no matter where they are around the world. It can have emotional benefits, right? So this is how the product makes the target market feel. So it could make them feel connected. It can make them feel responsible. It can make them feel engaged, right? So our brand needs to deliver this message and create these types of emotions. It could also serve as an economic benefit. So maybe how the product can save time or money. So in this case, it can save time for parents in communicating. So instead of having to pick up the phone and maybe missing calls, they could easily send a reminder, hey, you have soccer practice today. Or they could send a reminder to their tutor, and it goes simultaneously to their tutor and to their child. So it can save them a lot of time. And essentially, it could translate to money because they could be putting that time into other income producing activities. It could also have, number 4, self-expressive benefits. So how does the product make us appear to the external world? So if some parent is wearing this type of watch technology, it can appear to the outer world that this is someone who takes their family very seriously and is on top of their family, and they will go above and beyond to make sure that they're as engaged, even though they have a very busy lifestyle. And also, number 5, what are the basic benefits to society and the environment? We could say that these are biodegradable. We could say that the benefits of the society, it allows a better connection between parents and their children, which can create let's say, better behavior patterns, and that can translate into children being able to be more attentive in their education systems. So you could really stretch the benefits of a brand, and that's why it's so important to do this brainstorming strategy, so that then you can develop that brand identity. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that you've created, your brand identity, you know what are the benefits of it. We've discussed also what are the brand drivers of this, playing on the functional benefits, emotional benefits, economic benefits, right? Now we can decide, well, what should we be branding, right? Now, you don't necessarily brand things, right? You can brand certain features of it. So let me break this down a little bit for you. Are you guys getting value so far? Give me a thumbs up and some love. Fabian, thank you for joining. Michael, thank you for joining. So you create a brand with its core promises first, right? Because a brand is a promise. And then you attach something to that promise, okay? Like the product or a company name. So then your customers create that association, right? So don't think of branding like a livestock, right? You have to think of branding, it's a more disciplined process. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create conditioning. So Pavlov Skinner is a famous psychologist. He ran this experiment where he would ring the bell and the dog would salivate. But the salivation would not happen unless the meal was presented, right? So you ring the bell, the meal is presented, and the dog salivates. After a few trials of this, even though the meal is not being presented, when the bell rings, the dog still salivates. So this is called conditioning, right? And this is what we're trying to do with our consumers. We're trying to condition them through an image of our brand to create a feeling. Right? They could be salivating, they could feel pride, they could feel confidence. So these emotions will be based on the brand identity and the core beliefs of it and the promise it delivers. Okay, so you might think, okay, well, what kind of things can I attach to the brand? Well, think about Coke, for example, right? Every time they drink Coke or they see the brand Coke, what do you feel when you see the brand Coke? Drop a few comments down below, engage with me. What are some of the emotions that come to mind? Usually, for me, it's a very fun and social environment, right? So they'll show the Coke brand maybe on a beach on a hot day, playing some sports. It's a social and a fun feeling, and something that I would want to drink at a social event or a party, right? So that's the kind of connection that I have built to this brand. So it's not just products that can be branded. I'm going to go into a few different things here. A brand can be just the feature of a brand. So, for example, a car rental company can open up a private sector of it, a golf club, so to speak, that's exclusive just for rentals, right? So they can have certain features of the company that is exclusive, and it could brand that exclusivity, if that makes sense. Now, you could also brand an ingredient of the product, right? So Coca-Cola has got a secret ingredient that nobody knows about. It's not public, but this secret ingredient has lasted generations, and it's phenomenal tasting. And maybe we have other brands like Pepsi and maybe other like Dr. Pepper. That's not even similar, but there has been other types of brands that try to mock similar taste, but Coca-Cola has got a very specific ingredient, and it could build the history of that through its branding. Now, the brand could also have a unique technology, right? So, for example, Toyota right now has rolled out a hybrid. Why? Because what's important to the marketplace right now, where more people are becoming aware of global warming and retaining our resources and replenishing them, right? So more people are actually moving towards hybrid cars or even electric cars. In fact, here in Canada, they've passed a law where they're actually giving $5,000 for people that are buying electric cars under $40,000. So it was wise for Toyota to roll out a product that's a hybrid, right? So a brand can represent a product's unique technology. Now, it could also be services. It's very simple. If you look at 1-800-GOT-JUNK, the overall brand is O2E Brands, but they have junk removal, they have Wow Painting, they have Shack Shine, I think they even have a moving company, right? So it could have an umbrella of services. And even in the house, the main house of O2E Brands, there's several brands within it, and they branded several different services, right? So there's many ways to do this. In fact, you could even have a string of brands. So if you think about, for example, Amazon can sell Kindle on it, and Kindle uses a type of technology that allows you to read it, right? So you can have company, products, and technology literally all in one. So that's how you can decide what to brand. Now, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in my private group, Tudor Consulting, where I'm going to be talking about how do you design the brand architecture, okay? And that's basically going a little bit deeper in the types of branding, and how do you know which is the type of branding to pick for your company? Should you be branding features? Should you be branding a unique technology? Should you be branding perhaps an ingredient? How do you know which one to pick? And how do you know if it's the right one that matters most to your target audience? So I'm going to be going deeper in developing that brand architecture for you. And also in my Tudor Consulting group, I'm going to talk about identifying the brand personality. And this is basically developing human-like characteristics, because people like to relate to something that's similar to them. And that's how you build trust on a subconscious level. And I'll also show you literally how you can take all of this information and calculate the exact return that you will get in terms of revenue in your business for investing in your brand. And I will also next week develop this concept further and show you how you can position your brand so you can have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, so you can retain more of the market share. So I hope that you guys have gotten value from this. Like I said, please feel free to share the current business model that you are in right now, or feel free to send me a message. And I can actually give you a calculator that you can use, so you can actually calculate exactly how much you should be investing in your brand and how much of a return you can get. Because guess what? If you brand your company right, your marketing dollars will go much further, because it'll convert higher, because the image and the perception and the perceived value will be much higher, and people will way likely to have increased trust and increased loyalty and increased word of mouth as well. So that's basically free advertising. So when I say that if you brand your company right from the first time, your marketing dollar will go much further, and I got the statistics to prove it. So if you kind of want a little brief consultation on that, feel free to either join my group, drop a comment down below asking for that brand ROI, or just shoot me a message. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you got lots of value. Ciao for now. We'll see you on the next episode.